Thank you for joining for our remote meeting this evening. To get our Board of Trustees meeting, we will first start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to stand here, and for those of you viewing at home and listening at home, we can do this together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. We did not receive any public comment this evening, but for those who are listening and watching and will see this after our meeting, for our future board meetings, please email mayor's office at southamptonvillage.org with your public comment, and we will submit it and read it for the record. I just wanted to quickly mention and reiterate that our board and our team here at Village Hall is working extremely hard and giving our best that we can to make sure that our public is safe and communicated with. I wanted to reiterate a few things. Of course, we should be social distancing. Everybody should be staying at home, and we should be washing our hands and sanitizing as much as possible. I also just wanted to give a few quick thank yous. I wanted to thank you to Julie Fitzgerald, who arranged for a meeting tonight and who has been making sure that our meetings and work during this situation are going smoothly. I also wanted to thank Russell Cratterville, our village administrator, who has been working in Village Hall, obviously social distancing and working remotely and making sure that the village is running its day-to-day operations and keeping everything also running smoothly. And then also obviously wanted to thank our police departments. Chief Cummings is on our call tonight. Wanted to thank our EMS and fire departments and all of our emergency service providers. And of course, I wanted to thank our Board of Trustees. We have all been working very closely together, and we have been working very well together. So I just wanted to thank everybody here tonight, those of you who are seeing this. And then I am now going to turn this over to our village attorney, Brian Egan, who is just quickly going to debrief us on some of the executive orders that we're getting from New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the Board of Trustees. Chief, thank you for your work you're doing on behalf of the village. It is kind of a complicated time, and I thought there'd be just there are many executive orders that were issued by the governor, but the one that's pertinent for the meeting was set in Executive Order 202, which was passed March 12, 2020, which suspended public meetings, again, to encourage the social distancing and the safety of Village Hall and the safety of the residents not to be participating in these meetings directly. As you can see, each one of these trustees and each one of the participants are in separate locations, not in the same building in most instances. They are taking time out of their schedules to participate in this conference in the safest way possible. And what the goal is tonight, in accordance with the governor's executive order, I should say, is that all the meetings will be held remotely by conference call or similar service, provided the public has the ability to view or listen, which we added to tonight, and that this meeting will be recorded and later transcribed and part of the official record. So while it is, we'd all like to continue our New England Town Hall traditions of in-person meetings and the vigorous public participation. This time and this public health crisis requires this kind of staccato performance by the Board of Trustees. So bear with us as we do it, and thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Brian. So tonight there are no board presentations, no discussion items, and no public hearings, but we do have communications to the board. The first communication to the board is regarding Southampton Town Trustees, the joint meeting with the village trustees regarding the harmful algae bloom action plan on April 2nd, 2020. With that being said, I will let Russell take this one from here.
So the Board of Trustees from the town has given a notice of a public hearing for the harmful algal bloom action plan for Lake Agawam to be held on April 2nd, 2020 at 3 p.m. We also have advertised as well for that meeting. It is still yet to be determined whether or not this will be held remotely. Both parties at this time feel as though they want to, and we certainly will pass the message out through all of our web pages, and social media, if in fact the meeting continues remotely, and how others can participate in this very important meeting.
All right. Thank you, Russell. Any comments from the board? If not, we can move on to the next communication.
The next communication is the mayor is turning over to the village board. Generally, if we were in Village Hall at this time, I would be handing out to the board members the tentative 2020-2021 budget. But given the fact that we are not in the same room, it was emailed to the board members. So this is the official turning over the tentative budget to the Board of Trustees to review. We obviously will have public hearings on it and discussion, but this is the formal method of taking the tentative budget and turning it over to the Board of Trustees.
Thank you very much, Russell, for your hard work. There was a lot going on, obviously, given the current situation, and Russell obviously managed not only to help our village guide us through everything related to the coronavirus, but also had made time to make sure that our budget, our tentative budget, was done. And I also wanted to thank Kathy Sweeney, who helped keep some of the items in. So thank you to her as well. And again, if I don't know if there's comments here, if not, we can move to the suggested resolutions, which is Russell as well.
So suggested resolutions. I entertain a motion resolved that the reading of the minutes for the public session of March 12th, 2020 be dispensed with, and that those minutes be accepted as filed by the village administrator, and that the actions taken at that meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that the claims for the warrants dated March 24th, 2020 totaling $60,004.04, warrant number 13, general fund, and $1,900 be ordered and approved.
So moved.
On a question, I would like to entertain a motion to amend the resolution after it says 1900 to say capital fund warrant number 10.
Motion here.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second on the underlying resolution. The mayor, go ahead.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Entertain a motion resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the attached schedule of budget transfers to limit line item overages for the period ending March 24th, 2020.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I also want to add that because we are remote tonight, that the warrant is on our website and on the agenda, so that the public can view the entire warrant, given that we're not live in Village Hall. Entertain a motion resolved that upon determination by Suffolk County Civil Service that the Board of Trustees reclassifies Michael Quick to the title of Groundskeeper 1 at an annual salary of $45,298.13, effective March 27th, 2020.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Russell, for that. We actually now move to comments from board members. Trustee Yastrzemski, as per usual, you can kick this off.
Well, you said it all before, Mayor, and again, I do want to thank, first off, our staff that has done a superb job just to get this meeting tonight working and functional, even with all the few hiccups. And I do thank the public for their patience. We're going to need more of it, and that's important. But I do, of course, as you mentioned, want to thank our staff, our DPW that's been going out, or people that are still working for our village, for the residents, and our first responders, our police, EMS, and fire. They've made adjustments for the good of the public and themselves, and all through directions coming down straight from Albany all the way through to us. So it's good that the public is in good hands. They always were, and they will continue to be. So I thank them. I thank you, Chief, and I thank all the other chiefs of the respective departments for being well informed and well trained for this, for what we're under right now. And again, I just ask the public, please extend your patience Don't hoard, be polite, like the message said, and just pay attention to what's around you. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Rich. Trustee Allen, you're next with comments. Thank you.
Good evening, and obviously, well said, Mayor. We're definitely in a new world of different. If you hear a meow in the background, that is our cat, Lucy, and I'm sure you'll hear other little animals during the rest of the period. Our community is obviously not in this, it's not just us, it's our village, our county, our state, our country, the world. So you're not alone. And a large debt of gratitude, as Rich just said, to our local fire department, EMS, hospital, every healthcare giver who is helping battling this pandemic. Just remember that you're not alone and that all of us are working together to try and get through this. There are a lot of resources that are on our website and the county website, and there's a 311 number for the county for businesses to participate in a survey to help our government determine some of the most effective business recovery tactics once we get through this. And there's also a county site that supports hotlines for mental health issues and many other good resources to help us continue to remain safe. The town also has a new senior program, and I don't want to steal your thunder, Mayor, but if you're planning to speak on it, I won't say anything else.
No, please feel free. It's a great program and it'll be great for everyone to hear about it.
So the town has a new senior program called ASAP, and it's intended to deliver the most needed goods by town staff, like prescriptions and other things such as batteries. It's to help our elderly and most vulnerable. If you go to the town site, it's all listed there. I don't have the phone number handy, but if you call a number and give your order, and they will take your credit card number, they'll pick up the items and then deliver them to your home. But it's a terrific idea. I think Supervisor Schneiderman and Frank Sapone and a whole group of people pulled this together, but their thinking was, let's get important things to people who need it, and let's make sure that our most vulnerable don't have to go out. So on that note, I just wanted to wish everybody a good evening, and that's it.
Thank you very much for those comments. We appreciate you sharing those to us. And I believe that this meeting actually will be accessible, possibly, obviously through our YouTube channel, but there'll be many people that'll be listening and hearing this meeting. So thank you for sharing that. Very important to get that information out. Next is Trustee Parrish. Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Allen.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, to touch base on what everybody has said before, it is a whole different time. We are all working pretty hard, very hard actually, and we are all putting our heads together through the state, the county, town, and to the village. We're on calls, we're listening, and we are all learning as we go. This is a time where a lot of people are looking to us, and I believe that we are there for them. We are putting out information that helps with the community to adhere to a lot of the practices that are being recommended. I'm proud of this board. I'm proud of this community to continue to do what's right. We do need to make sure that with the influx of everybody that is here, that we maintain the best practices that are being recommended by our government. And it's hard to, because we get into a situation where we feel that we can just go outside and it's beautiful here. We are in a special place, but we really need to make sure that we understand that this is a serious pandemic and we are in it, and New York City is the epicenter. But believe that this board, this town, this county, and this state is working really hard to make everybody safe and calm. So everybody, all the best. We are going to get through this, and we'll all be healthy and smiling before you know it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those words. We really appreciate it. And also just wanted to thank Trustee Parrish. He was out this weekend when we had, unfortunately, too high of a number of people out and congregating. He was out actually picking up trash on the weekend, helping and making sure that our village still looked good, despite the fact that we did have some people not respecting other people's, and just not respecting kind of the basics of, throw out your trash. But I just wanted to thank you very much for those efforts this weekend to make sure our village looked good. So thank you. Next is Trustee Polaro.
Thank you, Mayor. And again, as everyone has said, these are different circumstances for everyone. These are just different circumstances for, the board, for the residents of Southampton Village, for my kids. I mean, I'm supposed to have one child who is in Chile right now on a semester abroad. He was flown home. I'm supposed to have one child in Florida for spring break lacrosse training. I'm supposed to have one child over in Europe for his spring break. They're suffering at home, and it's not easy. It's not easy for anyone. And what they have been asked to do and what everyone has been asked to do is difficult, is tough, but it is the right thing to do. Please stay at home. Please wash your hands. Please make sure that you are doing, as Mayor Warren said, and everyone else, the requisites that the CDC, the WHO, the state, the governor. I mean, there are so many people telling all the simplest things. And it all started with Mom. I think Mom said, wash your hands first from anyone that I can remember. So we will get through this. I do also want to thank all the village employees for all of their hard work. We're taking extra precautions with them. They are on split shifts. We don't want cross-contamination occurring. So that is wonderful. The public, it's wonderful to see so many people out here. Yes, please respect your neighbors, your fellow residents, the visitors, homeowners, and all. We put this little message out. This will not be as good as what Charlie does, but I know that it is up on our website. It is being posted around the village and stuff. Stop, look, and listen, and try and stay home as much as possible. I think it is very imperative that we do this. The sooner that we do this, the sooner that we can get over this and get back to some sense of normalcy, although that may take longer than anyone believes. We did hear today on the county call that landscaping is now an essential part, especially as we get into the growing season of the grass. We don't want ticks or anything to be hiding if grass gets too long. So they will be out probably cutting grass. I have spoken to a couple of landscapers, and I want to thank especially Mark Analetti for his determination to try and do the right thing. And so I am very hopeful that the majority of landscapers will voluntarily not leaf blow, mulch cut, and we can really try and get through this with a little bit of sanity and not the loud noise that the leaf blowers go, or blowing particles in the air and all of that. So I can't thank them enough for listening, for adhering, for wanting to be a part of the solution for all of our residents at this hard time. So thank you, everyone, and thank you for being out with us.
Thank you, Trustee Polaro. That was very well said, and thank you for your outreach to the community.
Mayor, if I can interrupt, because I, with your permission, I'd like to go back to communications. There's an important communication that came in today that I would like to read into the record, if that's okay.
Please, would love to do that.
Okay, so it's from Peter Baines, who's the chairman of NICOM, which is the New York Conference of Mayors, and it's to city and village mayors, managers, and administrators. And it basically says that NICOM has learned that the latest version of the third federal stimulus bill includes $200 billion for direct fiscal assistance to state and local governments, with funds allocated by population. However, it would only provide assistance to local governments with populations over 500,000. There are only 36 U.S. cities, including the city of New York, that meet that threshold. NICOM, in conjunction with the National League of Cities and U.S. Conference of Mayors, is seeking a municipal aid package that helps all of our members, as you are on the front lines of the COVID-19 response, and money to you will go straight into your local economies. Please call your member of Congress, Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand, to get them to remove or significantly lower the population threshold.
Thank you very much for that, Russell. And today, actually, at 3 p.m., I was on a call with some other mayors and supervisors, and coincidentally, Congressperson Zeldin was on that call. So I actually immediately told him about that email from NICOM. We forwarded it to his office as well as to his deputy, Mark Woolley. So they said they would look into that for us. But I think our board should put together a letter to our two senators and our congressperson and just ask them for the relief that some of these larger cities might be getting, and just asking them for as much relief as possible. We're definitely going to need it. And Russell, thank you for that again. And I also just wanted to thank again the board. When we look at leadership on the local levels, the state levels, the federal levels, it is somewhat encouraging to see really the strong leadership on the local level. Strong leadership from our Board of Trustees, strong leadership from our town, and from others on the East End. So I just wanted to thank everybody. And there is some encouragement to be had when you see our public officials and our public servants working around the clock. That gives some encouragement. But unfortunately, of course, as County Executive Steve Bellone said and Governor Andrew Cuomo said, the surge is coming. We've gotten through this first period, and we've done it reasonably well, but we still need to maintain our discipline in order to stay at home, as Trustee Pilar said, wash our hands, and social distance. That's going to be critical. Our hospitals are expanding their footprint given the executive order from the governor. And even if they increase their capacity and their beds by 100%, that still may not be enough. And the only way to flatten the curve, the only way to avoid that situation and to avoid an increased surge is to make sure we're following the CDC guidelines, the Department of Health guidelines, and the protocols that we all know about. And so I just wanted to reiterate that to those who might be watching later on and who are listening right now, that is critical. That is the one way to avoid the surge. We have heard that we know there's the Suffolk County mobile testing site at Stony Brook University at Stony Brook, New York. But we have actually heard that Suffolk County was able to add additional people, additional workers to help on the call-in lines. So if you do want to get a test and you fit the symptoms for those tests, you can call the New York State Coronavirus Hotline, which is actually posted on our village website. They'll ask you some questions, see if you qualify. But the good news is that there was quite a bit of a wait. I've heard from people that there was a several-hour wait maybe last week, but with additional staff, the wait time has decreased dramatically. I even heard today that we're talking a few minutes at this point. So I got to give again, all of our local and state officials and officials across the country a lot of credit. And again, a couple quick things for those who haven't heard. We've heard from the Food Industry Alliance that there's no disruption to the food supply chain at this point. There was simply a temporary spike in demand, but we'll let you know if that changes. We hope and thank our workers who are working at our local supermarkets like Stop and Shop, that they are in good shape and healthy. And we hope that and we'll be asking for the businesses to make sure that those employees are protected and taking all precaution, and that customers are social distancing as well, because those food markets are extremely important. But with that said, again, we've got a great team here, and we are doing everything that we possibly can to communicate to the public and to run the village despite all of the outside pressures that we might have at this moment. So again, thank you to everybody. Typically in our meetings, we have a final public comment, but since we have not received any emails at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I forgot to unmute.
Thanks, Russell. All right. Anybody, thanks for your help tonight, and have a good night.
Night.